siempre es un problema cuando hay muchas actividades, un congreso y juris, pero bueno, en cualquier caso esperemos que se vaya sumando profesores y alumnos a la conferencia di Valerio Paolo Mosco, profesor italiano que ha estado con nosotros, bueno, está con nosotros dentro de las actividades teóricas del MDA, del Máster de Diseño Arquitectónico. Él proviene de la Universidad de Roma, en su origen, bueno, pero graduado de la Roma, pero ahora, después de una larga e importante trayectoria como académico, por supuesto en Venecia, de donde proviene, pero también en el IIT, en Chicago o en Brescia y también incluso Politécnico de Milano, IED, en fin, una larga e importante trayectoria académica, donde él trabaja como una doble referencia, tanto la arquitectura contemporánea, también la arquitectura contemporánea española, le ha interesado el estudio de ensamble y otros proyectos, y arquitectura contemporánea, pues tanto en Estados Unidos como en Europa, como he dicho, singularmente en España, pero también esta otra visión más histórica de la tradición de la arquitectura del movimiento moderno, y en este caso singular que hoy nos presenta sobre la figura de Giuseppe Terragni, la figura de un arquitecto singularmente importante en la configuración del panorama de la historia de la arquitectura moderna en Italia, y no solo en Italia, con extraordinario impacto, por ejemplo, en la primera arquitectura moderna en España. Figuras pues, como incluso el propio Javier Carvajal con su primer edificio de la Escuela de Estudios Empresariales de Barcelona, donde el impacto del racionalismo italiano estaba muy presente, y la figura de Giuseppe Terragni, que tiene además este halo un poco mítico, ¿no? de su muerte joven, y siempre con la duda de hacia dónde podría evolucionar una figura como la de Terragni, cuál podría haber sido su trayectoria después de la guerra. En cualquier caso, justamente este momento y esta situación es la que nos va a presentar el profesor Mosco, que es justamente este último proyecto, último proyecto, la última catedral, el último proyecto que Giuseppe Terragni delineó, y que de alguna manera también, supongo que a través de su explicación, muestra tanto lo que Terragni conocía y practicaba, como aquello que Terragni podría haber desarrollado en el futuro. Sin más, gracias por tu presencia aquí, gracias por el curso teórico que has dado en la universidad, y este es el momento justamente de adentrarnos en este episodio final de la vida de Giuseppe Terragni.
Thank you very much. This is a story about a project, but not only a project. It's about a man, and sometimes, rarely, a project could be a man. It could be something that testifies a man. And I use the word and the verb testify in order to get the point that is a spiritual point, in a Christian way of the acceptance of the term itself. So the story is is about the last project that Terragni did, And the last sketch has been done by Terragni 2 days before his death. There is a very mysterious death. And I reconstruct this story without the help of the archives of Terragni. And the archives, they didn't want to show the last letters and the last photographs in order to preserve the memory of Terragni. But I'm very grateful with that, because they gave me photographs and letters and whatever else. And I started to read about that. Well, in short words, the story is that. So Terragni has been called to the army at the beginning of the war, the last World War. And first he went to Serbia, and he stayed in Serbia for a short period. Then he moved to Russia. And in Russia he became a captain. And well, in Russia, at the beginning, the war was nothing. For 1 year long, there has been draw de guerre, a stop of the war. So the Russian army and the Italian one, they has been in front of each other without doing anything. And in this period, he worked a lot. He paid a lot. And even he sent a lot of sketches to his studio in order to develop the projects. But one day he went out for a mission, because he sketched very well, perfectly well. So he has been called to go outside the front in order to check what is going on around. And meanwhile, after 1 year, the Russian army attacked. And when he went back, all his platoon, they were killed. Nobody survived. So he felt guilty about that, and profoundly guilty. And in a certain way, he got crazy, or he lost his... he was a very sharp man. He was really get to the point, few words, and really all the friends that testified that they had fear about him in a certain way. Well, and he really lost his capability of getting to the point. So the command sent him back to Italy, in a hospital in Riccione, in the northeast part of Italy. And his brother, who was the major of Como, with the chauffeur, they went to the hospital in order to take him back home. But it was the brother testified that he was too calm and detached from reality. And the first thing that he asked was, where are your luggage? I don't have anything. So he returned back from Russia, and he left in Russia a lot of drawings, paintings, only with a molesting sketchbook, with a blank, completely blank, with flowers of Russian steppe inside, dried. And well, they took him home, and they arrived late in the night, and he went out from the car, and suddenly he started to kick the car in order to destroy the car, and he was 2 meters high, very big. They didn't have the strength to stop him. Then they took him to the hospital, and at that time in Italy there was a therapy, electroshock. It's pretty well known. Has been invented by a doctor in Milan. So in a very short time, they did 7 electroshock to him. And he stayed in coma. And friends say that usually he used to spend his day in a bench in the park, in the center of Como, and with his military coat, and saying to everybody, sorry, 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 sorry. And in the summer, one day he went to the house of his girlfriend late in the night, leaving the house open and the gas open, and in the staircase of the house of his girlfriend, he collapsed and died. Some would say that he committed a suicide, but the family doesn't believe to that, and it was impossible to reconstruct what has been done. Well, during this tragedy, typical Italian tragedy of a nation that suffered the war as Spain suffered the Civil War. And there was a suffering of a man profoundly Catholic, but even profoundly fascist. The figure of the intellectual figure, especially architects during the fascism period, they were really protected by Mussolini. Because Mussolini used architecture like a mass medium. Italy at that time was not a country. So Mussolini did the same post office, the same station from the north to the south, from the east to the west. And the sensation of people was that Italy for the first time was a country. So the role of the architects at that time was a crucial role. And Terragni was maybe the most talented of the architects of that period, especially in Milan. And the story that I'm on the way to tell you, is about lyric rationalism. It's a kind of rationalism that doesn't deal with functionalism. Is an idea of rationalism, typically of Italian, that comes basically from philosophy. So Gentile was, with Croce, two philosophers at that time, wrote a book about art, religion, and even abstractism. And it was about the Neo-Plato idea, basically, roughly speaking. And all the architects, especially from Milan and Como, they really appreciate this book. And at the time, there was a group of artists that, in a certain way, conceived abstractism in a way completely different from the German way. Remember the Boehringer book said, well, Boehringer divided abstractism into, well, it's a kind of primitivism for Boehringer. And for the architects and the philosophers of Milan was really the contrary. Abstractism has to be the end of a kind of civilization, Western civilization. So, for them there is a profound link between the idea of Renaissance, of